The train keeps on rolling for Honkai Star Rail on this channel because, again, we have a bunch of stuff to talk about. And this week is going to be really talking about the systems in place for Honkai Star Rail as we've seen in the 3 previous videos. Now, of course, we do have another thing to talk about, and that is going to be the traces and the Eidolons and why it's important to look into these. But of course, before we get into that, what is going on, my dudes? Tasha here, back again with another Honkai Star Rail video. And today, if you guys like the content, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below. Don't forget to hit the notification bell to be notified of when the next Honkai Star Rail video comes out. And of course, leave a comment about what you think. Now, let's go ahead and jump right into it. As we talked about in the previous video, we talked about character progression and why it's important for certain things to be progressed when it comes to your stats. But there are a few things that were added to this game as it pertains to, you know, like the certain systems. Now, if you're used to Genshin Impact, which like I said in the previous video, I compare a lot of stuff in this game to Genshin Impact because 1, it's the same company, and 2, it's the game that I have the most like knowledge in when it comes to Hoyoverse. So please don't rip me to shreds in the comments, it's what I know. Now, traces are pretty much like talents, but instead of focusing on, let's say, just 3 talents and leveling up like that, as you could see, we have what's called a skill tree. Now, for those of you who haven't played a lot of RPGs in the past, a lot of RPGs use what's called a skill tree, which is a progressive level up of a system through the tree. And this is going to act like those talent progression levels that we see in, you know, Genshin Impact. Traces are a skill upgrade tree that each character has. Unlocking and upgrading the various nodes in a character's trace will provide them with stat bonuses, extra passive abilities, and enhancements to their 5 skills. Now, this is pertaining to the 5 skills that we talked about previously. I think I can pull it up right here. No, I can't pull it up. What was it? I'm trying to find it. Okay, here it is. Basic attack, skill, ultimate, talent, and technique, which, you know, you want to make sure that you pay attention to all those. Now, traces can be upgraded by using materials found in the Cocoon of Distortion as mission rewards and purchased in the shop. Also note that the ability to upgrade traces is tied to your character's ascension, so you will need to level your character first before being able to upgrade these traces. Exactly. So it's exactly how, you know how in Genshin, where you would have a first ascension passive, a 4th ascension passive, and you'd have all this other stuff, you know, in the middle? That's basically what it's pertaining to. To ascend your characters, you need to constantly level up your character and focus on upgrading these skill trees. It's extremely important to make sure that you're checking out what levels these are too, because as you can see in the middle here with these skills, because let's say this is the destruction tree for the MC, or what we call the Trailblazer. These 3, I think right here, are the attacks, if I remember correctly, and that's a boost in attack. And as it progresses, you're pertaining these things to, you know, these parts of the tree, and the passives will reflect that. So make sure before you actually go for relics, you're reading what these characters do, because this could range from, depending on how much HP you have, they get a bonus in attack. Depending on how much speed or how much attack you have, it increases the speed of the character. Stuff like that, because that's where scaling is going to come into play and why it's important to level up certain stats over others. So make sure that when you grab a character in Honkai Star Rail, you're paying attention to those traces, because this skill tree is going to mean, you know, a win or a lose depending on how you build your character. Now, for all you whales out there, right, we have this, the Eidolons. Now, the Eidolons are basically the exact same thing as constellations in Genshin Impact. The more Eidolons you have of a certain character, the more stuff you're going to unlock. Now, as you can see, they're talking about the destruction tree for the MC again, and this is Scattered Stars. When you go to, or Scattered Stars is the first ascension. When you get to the second, you see, attacking an enemy with a physical weakness restores the Trailblazer's HP equal to 5% of the Trailblazer's attack. This is going to be pertaining to the free-to-play character, obviously, but it's the same exact thing for all the paid characters as well, whether it's a 4-star or a 5-star character. The more Eidolons you get, the better your character is going to be. Now, granted, am I telling you to waste all your money on a character to get them to, you know, Eidolon 6? No, that's not what I'm saying at all. But what I am saying is that if you do get extra Eidolons of the characters, it's exactly like Genshin Impact, where they're supposed to be an enhancement, not a detriment. Now, we do know that there's certain characters in Genshin Impact that, excuse me, that when they get these constellations, there could be some problems. Bennett C6 is a very, very prominent one, where it turns all of his attack bonus into pyro damage bonus and turns all attacks into pyro, which is bad because if you're fighting a, pyro slime and you use that ability, you're not going to do any damage. So just saying, you want to make sure to read up on these and be careful about who you're ascending to a certain Eidolon. Now, we're going to read the excerpt right here. Eidolons are unique bonuses to characters that enhance a character's ability or provide them with a new passive bonuses. Each character has 6 Eidolons, and each Eidolon upgrades provided a different bonus. Eidolon upgrades can be unlocked by obtaining duplicate copies of the character from Warps, the gacha system, or through in-game missions and events. The only exception to this is the main character. You can obtain their Eidolon upgrades via in-game missions and Trailblazer level, which is exactly how we would get the stuff for the main character for Genshin Impact. So the biggest thing that I think out of these two is going to be traces, because not everybody is going to be pulling, a 6 Eidolon Seele or a 6 Eidolon Tingyun. You've got to be very careful with what you're doing with these certain characters, because you're not going to be able to pull all those characters or pull their Eidolons. So the traces are going to be your most important thing to worry about, because of the fact that this is all going to be based on you leveling up your character. So these systems are extremely important, because some of the bosses in the game, it's a matter of if you're going to win or lose with these traces. Because when I was doing the beta, and this was like the first closed beta back, like I think almost a year and a half ago, and the reason why it was so important was because I went against a boss and I didn't even touch my trace level ups. I was literally just going in there trying out the base game, and I didn't think I would hit that much of challenging content. And I got my ass kicked, excuse my language. But when I started doing the traces and stuff like that, it became clear that this is going to be one of the main things that you're going to want to level up outside of relics, because it's not going to matter what your level is. If you're a higher level than the boss, it's going to matter what your stats are and what you're able to do with said stats. So be ready for that as the game comes out. And then of course we do have light cones, which I'll talk about a little bit later on, but those are going to be very important as well. So we'll talk about light cones in the next video, but of course that's going to be what we have for the character progression. Now, of course, guys, if you guys like the content, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below. Don't forget to hit the notification bell to be notified of when the next Honkai Star Rail video comes out. Guys, I'm loving this as a lot. I love Honkai Star Rail so far. I loved it since the closed beta 1, and I'm loving all the information that's coming out for it. So please make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell, because I will be posting a lot more Star Rail content alongside Genshin Impact. This week is mainly pertaining to Honkai Star Rail. We will be back to mixing the content up here soon, but there's a lot to talk about when it comes to Honkai Star Rail, so be ready for that. As always, guys, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to entertain you. We will be back again with another Honkai Star Rail video, and of course, we will see you guys in that next video. Please take care and be safe.